very soccer-filled weekend. We're going to do the analysis, but before that, I have to tell all of you that you're going to watch this nice video. Thank you for joining us in this 2025. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for connecting, and thank you for continuing to be part of the family Falso 9 Television. We hope you have a 2026 full of prosperity, good health, family unity, and above all, lots of soccer, together with the best. With us, with Falso 9 Television. We wish you the best of the best years, and may God's blessing, of course, be with all of you. So let's start this analysis at the beginning of the year by looking at what's happening in Europe, the most important leagues. Let's get started. Well, let's get started because in the first video we made last week, which was mainly about the Premier League and Serie A, in this video we're going to give you more details. Because there have also been matches played in Ligue 1, La Liga in Spain, Premier League, Serie A. Anyway, let's get started. Let's dive right into Ligue 1 and what happened in France. These were some of the results that this competition has given us. There have been some surprises and we're going to tell you about them. A team that's at the top of the table didn't get any points. They lost against a direct rival that's trying to stay up. Lille is currently fourth among the European spots. They lost against Stade de Reims, an important match, 2-0. A game that was especially vital for the points in the race for the European spots. Also Marseille, which keeps losing ground, lost 0-2 against Nantes. And the surprise, without a doubt, the revelation of this championship. Lens, which is currently the leader, won 3-0 against Toulouse, and its direct rival PSG won 2-1 against its classic rival PSG. That's how the standings look right now. Lens is first with 40 points, PSG has 39, and from there down, PSG and Lens already have a significant lead over Marseille, Lille, Olympique Lyon, and Stade de Reims, which is also in the fight for the European spots. That's talking about France, but to wrap up France, we have to mention that this week is Super Cup week. The French Super Cup will be played by PSG and Olympique Marseille. So everyone is really excited about the European schedule and also the programming on Falso 9 Television. We take a plane and quickly head to Spain because we land here in La Liga. Some quick results there, which happened in an important match day, in my opinion, especially for the three contenders, as always, Atlético de Madrid, Villarreal, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. I think it was an important start to the year because they need to stay consistent and keep adding points, especially to catch up to Barcelona one by one. It wasn't enough for Atletico. Atletico de Madrid, Cholo's team, drew 1-1 in their visit to Real Sociedad, picking up just 1 point. Barcelona did well in their visit to Espanyol, winning 2-0 in the Catalonia Classic, which also brought updates, news, and a record that Hansi Flick is setting. 9 consecutive wins so far in the Spanish League, with the victory against Espanyol being their latest match. So they're coming in perfectly. Barcelona is on fire. Let's also talk about Real Madrid, 5-1 a handful against Real Betis, and on top of that, Cucho Hernandez scored goals. But here the news is that Gonzalo Garcia, the youth academy player, scored a hat-trick. Mbappe was in the stands watching the match. It was a game of improvement for Real Madrid, but they have to know how to keep it up. 5-1, so Real Madrid against Real Betis. And that's how the standings are. Barcelona is first, Real Madrid is second, as I mentioned. Villarreal is in there, and Atlético de Madrid is fourth. Further down at the bottom are Espanyol and Real Betis, which, as we mentioned, lost to Real Madrid. This week is also Spanish Super Cup week. The match between Real Madrid and Atletico de Madrid will be played, which is the first semi-final, and the second will be between Barcelona and Atletico de Bilbao. All of that will happen this week, so stay tuned to the European calendar and also to our content schedule here on Falso Nueve Television. We're going to take another plane and fly straight to Italy to quickly land in Serie A, the league we're bringing you today. These were some of the results. Let's quickly go over what happened in several matches, especially Inter, which is the opponent. They're currently the leader and need to stay on top. They can't afford to drop points because the others are right there. As you saw from the front row, Milan keeps earning points. This time they narrowly beat Cagliari 1-0. Another team that's still in the fight, getting closer to Juventus. Como won by the narrowest margin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they beat Udinese 1-0 and keep adding points. Because look, here Juve slips up. It's 1-1. Juventus ends up drawing against Lecce, and they're right there. Also fighting for the Champions League spots. They're not really fighting directly for the lead, but they're fighting for the European competition spots. Atalanta pulled off a surprise by narrowly beating Roma in an away game in Bergamo. And Roma also lost important points not only for the title race but also for the Champions League spots. We'll look at the standings in a moment. Here is another one of the important matches of the round. Lazio at the Stadio Olimpico ended up losing 2-0 against Napoli, who are still in good form, trying to catch up with Milan and Inter. For their part, Inter Milan won 3-1 at the stadium. At their stadium, the Giuseppe Meazza against Bologna, against Giongia De Lucumi's Bologna 3-1. That match ends and Inter remains at the top. There is Toro Martinez Lautaro, first with Inter Milan, followed by Napoli, then Juventus, Roma, and Como. I wanted to make a special section because a lot happened this weekend in the Premier League, so we can quickly talk about what happened in the Premier League. We got a ticket, took a plane, and flew to England to quickly land in what was the Premier League. Because yes, we have to say it, we have to mention what happened in the last match day. No, sorry, the match day before this one, which was number 20, match day 19, where Arsenal beat Aston Villa 4-1. It was an important match. Manchester City's draw against Sunderland and Chelsea's draw against Bournemouth. Also, because this keeps increasing the gap in the standings, I'll show them to you in a moment. We also have to consider the league table. One of the other highlights is that Wolverhampton has won a match for the first time this season, 3-0. They beat West Ham, a direct rival. Let's go, because West Ham is also fighting to avoid relegation. So it was a vital match and above all, very important for Wolverhampton looking ahead to these matches where they need to pick up points if they want to avoid relegation. Another match. Aston Villa returned to winning ways against another team that's fighting relegation. We're talking about Aston Villa. They beat Nottingham Forest 3-1, who, as I mentioned, are fighting for those last spots down at the bottom of the table. Another piece of news from this weekend, especially talking about the Red Devils in the city of Manchester, because there were two updates in Manchester. One by one, Leeds ended up tying. No, sorry, Manchester United tied with the help of that man on the screen. Mateus Cunha tied and saved the day. They saved a point in their visit to Leeds from the former team of Ruben Amorim, because Ruben Amorim was fired from Manchester United. And here I leave you with a statistic that comes directly from the Premier League account. With the coaches that have come and gone, here they are. They're here with the coaches that have come and gone. Among them are Jose Mourinho, Solskjaer, David Moyes. There's also Ruben Amorim himself. And the statistics, the worst statistics in the last decade or in recent years. After Sir Alex Ferguson left, Ruben Amorim did very badly. That's the truth. We also talked about Tottenham, who drew with Sunderland 1-1. I think Sunderland did a good job. It's been a good season. Honestly, it's been a good season, and we need to keep an eye on them. Hopefully, Sunderland can qualify for a European competition. We talked about Liverpool, who drew. They were tied at the last minute. Liverpool was tied at the last minute 2-2. Fulham ended up tying Liverpool 2-2. They get a point, and we'll talk about the standing soon because another surprise is coming. In this match, Manchester City drew 1-1 against Chelsea, a crucial match after drawing against Sunderland. Manchester City needed a win to keep up with Arsenal, but they drew after a goal from Enzo Fernandez, who played exceptionally well. Here are some statistics from Enzo Fernandez's match, who was all over the field and scored a goal. He's becoming one of the most important men, especially after the departure that we all know about, Enzo Maresca leaving the Blues. So 1-1, Chelsea against Manchester City. And in one match, Bournemouth had already made things difficult. Now Chelsea had to face Arsenal, and they made them suffer. They were literally in a pressure cooker. 3-2. Mikel Arteta's team ends up winning. The Gunners 3-2, still up there in the table. An important match to also pull away a bit from Pep Guardiola's team. And here I'm going to show you the standings. They're 6 points ahead. Arsenal is already ahead of Manchester City, so you can see some of the rankings, statistics, and points that the teams have as well. Manchester City has 42 points, the same as the third place team, which is Aston Villa. A great season for Unai Emery's team. Much further down, Liverpool has 34 points. Chelsea and Manchester United have 31, and Brentford has 30. Sunderland dropped down a spot with 30, and Tottenham is in 13th place with 27 points. So this is the journey we take here on Falso 9 Television. Through the major leagues, through the most important leagues in Europe, so that you stay up to date, and not just up to date, but so you know how the leagues are going and can enjoy good soccer together with us. Falso 9 Television. Let us know. I want to hear your thoughts on how the Premier League is going, how La Liga is doing, and also Ligue 1. I'll be waiting for you over there in the comments to read your messages so we can all interact together. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, leave a like, share, and comment. What do you think about these videos? And also, what do you think about European soccer? Of course, we'll see each other again very soon. Stay updated on everything Falso 9 Television does. Here bringing you the best of the best soccer with the best shows, with producers, with the best commentators, with the best narrators. Don't miss it. Bye-bye.